Thank you, Senator Creighton. Thank you for your hard work on House Bill 2. And here, this is an issue that we've been working on throughout the session, and that's dealing with some of the rural school districts where the appraised value that is set by the county appraisal district doesn't match the appraisal value that the comptroller's office sets. And there's a difference of 5%. And those schools lose large amounts of money just because there's not a matching appraisal district, county appraisal district that fits within the comptroller's estimate. And I know you listed several allotments and listed what the cost they cover, the types of costs, but I'm more focused right now just on this question on dealing with some of the rural districts. And I know not only impacts my Senate district, but there are other school districts throughout the state that have the same challenges in trying to make up the difference in lost revenue they had when the appraised value that's set by the comptroller's office doesn't match the appraised value by the county appraisal district.
Yes, Senator Hinojosa, you and I have had some great conversations, mainly because you brought this issue to me several times throughout the session. I know that Senator Betancourt has a bill in our committee right now that we're not just letting sit. We have it on the top priority list for our current agenda. Trey Martinez Fisher in the House is the House author, and it is specific to the issues you're talking about on the impact of these property valuation studies and exactly how we provide relief to our districts. Of course, we're providing never before historic dollars to our districts. Again, this isn't just a rival to House Bill 3 in 2019. It's really beyond that because the cost of this bill continues to travel biennium to biennium to biennium because of the increase codified in the teacher pay raises and how it grows. But we're going to have to continue to work together on the impact of these property valuation studies. The different decisions that you mentioned are made through the comptroller. Sure may depend on who the next comptroller is, you know. That's always something that might be interesting for all of us to consider, and we need to continue to work together to make sure that we have an idea of not just what that impact displays through a study like this, but that we act quickly to make decisions based on a study like that. And I think we'll jump on that very quickly in this interim when this bill passes.
The House had a part of the House Bill 2 had set aside about $60 million.
That's right.
To help some of the rural schools transition as they lost funding because of the difference in the appraised value by the county as compared to the comptroller's office. Is there any funds that is discretionary that the school districts, the rural school district can use to be able to cover at least some of that gap?
Well, our rural school districts, Senator Hinojosa, they're benefiting from HB2 as much as any category of districts in the state. We've certainly got a weighted lift for their formulas to help them. We've got a burden shift off of those districts as they have the basic allotment currently and the freedom to use that basic allotment. Members, remember, we're lifting guardrails currently off of the basic allotment so that basic allotment can be used with ultimate flexibility by our districts as we're lifting a burden shift away from the basic allotment for those districts that you just mentioned, Senator Hinojosa, by giving a permanent teacher pay raise. That's going to free up the basic allotment for adjustments and offsets that are needed whenever there's an impact from a property value study or a related cost that was not anticipated by these districts. And separate from that, the new ABC fixed cost allotment, it doesn't cover that example in particular, but because it covers so many other necessary fixed costs for the district, again, that basic allotment remains unencumbered for exactly the reasons you're talking about.
So I guess since we're taking off the guardrails on the basic allotment funding, the school district will be able to use that for whatever they identify as a priority need on their particular school district.
Well, when we're talking about those districts that you mentioned that are hit the hardest on an example like that, we're putting $318 million, by example, into small and mid-sized districts on an increase of funding, and that is just historic. So when you see the runs on those districts, you see the fiscal impact, and you see the burden that we're lifting off of the use of the current BA, current basic allotment. I think you'll find some relief there that you're looking for, but that's not the end of the story. As we continue forward with a bill like Senator Betancourt has before the committee right now on that exact property valuation study impact and the consequences, I think from both ends we're satisfying those needs immediately.
And then one more question on this issue. That is that maybe some of the county appraisal districts really need to be reformed, where they keep continuously coming way below the comptroller's estimate of the appraised value of the property in a particular county, which really then sets the school district, becomes underfunded. And then the state's got to step in to make up the difference. And in the meantime, the appraisal district continues to underfund, undervalue the property that causes the school district to not receive its proper funds that is needed to educate our students.
Well, and you and I both know there are appraisal districts that are undervaluing property. There are appraisal districts all over the state that many feel are overvaluing property. And we've got to reconcile these differences. It's very complex in how it affects our schools. But we can accomplish all of these and more together with the bills like HB 2 and with the legislation I mentioned that's in committee right now on the consequences and the impact. And as we continue to make these adjustments, I'll work together with you on this subject.
Thank you, Senator Creighton. And I always believe that education is the best equalizer we have in our society. So thank you for your hard work on House Bill 2.
You've always said that about education as you've referenced it on the floor, and I appreciate your contributions and your comments, your input on the bill to make it better, and always being very thoughtful in how you've approached with different things to consider on how we can always improve these policies for our schools and our students and our teachers.
Thank you for answering my question. Thank you, Mr. President.